All right, so get ready because today we're diving into some seriously mind-bending stuff with Henri Bergson.
Oh, yeah, definitely mind-bending.
This is a philosopher who basically took how we think about time and memory and consciousness.
Flip the script.
And yeah, flip the script. That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes this deep dive so exciting. We've got a biography of Bergson, some of his own writings, commentaries from other philosophers, and they all point to this idea that time isn't just ticking away on a clock. It's something we live and feel.
And that's where duration comes in.
Okay, so let's unpack this duration thing. It's not just clock time, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
So what makes it different?
Okay, so imagine you're waiting for, say, a pot of water to boil. 2 minutes on the clock is always 2 minutes.
Right.
But your experience of that time can be totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on your mood, your focus, what's going on around you, that's duration. The lived, flowing experience of time.
So when I'm stuck in traffic and every second feels like an eternity, duration is messing with me.
Exactly. And Bergson takes it even further, saying that duration is actually the foundation of free will.
Hold on, free will? How does experiencing time connect to making choices?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
If everything was just a predetermined chain of events, a series of dominoes falling,
okay,
where would choice fit in?
Yeah.
Duration allows for that element of unpredictability, that sense that the future isn't fixed. It's the space where genuine novelty and creation can happen.
Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going.
Right.
So if duration is all about flow and change, what does Bergson say about our intellect? You know, the part of us that tries to analyze and categorize everything.
Well, Bergson argues that our intellect, while useful for many things, actually struggles to grasp this flowing nature of reality. It's like trying to understand a river by taking snapshots.
Okay.
You get the individual moments, but you miss the current, the movement, the constant change.
So we're kind of stuck in freeze frame mode.
Yeah.
How does that actually play out in our lives?
Well, this is where those famous paradoxes of Zeno come in. You know, the one about Achilles and the tortoise?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
They highlight the absurdity of trying to understand movement through static points.
Okay. I remember that one. Achilles can never catch the tortoise because he has to keep crossing half the distance and then half again and so on, infinitely.
Right.
It always messed with my head.
And that's precisely Bergson's point. The paradox exposes the limitations of our intellect, the way it tries to break down a continuous process into discrete, measurable units.
Right.
We get so caught up in the snapshots that we miss the flow, the dynamic interplay of forces that makes up reality.
So if our intellect is kind of buggy when it comes to understanding time, what's the alternative? How do we break free from these mental snapshots?
Bergson's answer is intuition. It's not some mystical power, but rather a deeper way of knowing that allows us to connect with the flow of duration directly.
Okay.
He believed that through intuition, we can grasp the wholeness of experience, the interconnectedness of things, in a way that our analytical minds just can't.
Intuition. So it's we have this whole other way of experiencing the world that goes beyond logic and reasoning. How do we even tap into that?
It's about cultivating a different kind of attention, a willingness to let go of rigid mental frameworks and to simply be present with the flow of experience. Think of it like watching a dance performance.
Okay.
You can analyze the steps, the choreography, but to truly appreciate it, you need to let go and feel the rhythm, the movement, the emotion of the dance.
That makes sense. So it's about engaging with the world in a more direct experiential way.
Yes.
Rather than always trying to dissect and analyze it.
Right.
This brings us to another one of Bergson's big ideas, his unique take on memory.
Yes.
He doesn't see it as just storage, right?
Right. It's not like files in a cabinet. It's an active force constantly shaping our present.
Okay, so walk me through that. What makes Bergson's view of memory so different?
Imagine a vast library. The brain isn't containing all our memories in full detail. It's more like a librarian who knows where to find the right book at the right time.
Oh.
The library itself is vastly larger than any one book, and each book connects to countless others.
So our present moment is always being shaped by this vast network of memories, even if we're not consciously aware of it.
Exactly. And sometimes this connection between past and present can glitch, giving us that strange feeling of déjà vu.
Yeah.
It's like we're momentarily experiencing the present as already past a glimpse into the depths of our memory.
So déjà vu isn't just a random brain hiccup. It's actually revealing something deeper about how our memory works and how it connects to our present experience.
Precisely. And Bergson goes even further, suggesting that this active memory, this constant interplay between past, present, and future, is what allows for genuine novelty and creativity in the world.
Hold on, I need to catch my breath here. We've gone from duration to free will, from Zeno's paradoxes to the mysteries of memory.
I know.
And now we're talking about creativity.
And we're just getting started.
Oh boy.
This is what makes exploring Bergson so fascinating.
Yeah.
His ideas touch upon so many aspects of human experience, weaving together seemingly disparate threads into a rich tapestry of thought.
Well, then let's keep going. Tell me more about this connection between memory duration and creativity. How does Bergson see these things playing out in the grand scheme of evolution?
This is where Bergson's concept of the élan vital comes in, often translated as vital impulse. It's this creative force that he believes drives evolution towards greater freedom and complexity.
So it's not just random mutations and survival of the fittest, there's an actual direction, a drive towards something more.
That's how Bergson saw it. He challenged both the purely mechanistic view of Darwinism and the idea of a fixed divine plan. Instead, he saw evolution as this constant striving, this push towards something beyond mere survival.
This is really intriguing. So even in the biological world, there's this hint of something reaching for greater freedom and expression.
And this creative impulse, this élan vital, is deeply intertwined with Bergson's concept of duration. It's the continuous flow of time, this constant becoming, that allows for new possibilities to emerge.
It's like evolution itself is a dance with duration, a constant exploration of what's possible.
Yeah.
It's not just about adapting to the environment, it's about creating something new, something more complex and expressive.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And Bergson believed that this dance isn't just happening out there in the natural world. It's happening within each of us, shaping our thoughts, our actions, and our very sense of self.
This is all incredibly mind-expanding, but before we go any further, I want to make sure I understand this élan vital thing a bit better.
Okay.
Can you give me a more concrete example of how it might work, say, in the natural world?
Let's take the evolution of flight, for instance. It's not just that birds developed wings because it was advantageous for survival. It's that this deeper impulse towards greater freedom, towards transcending limitations, was somehow woven into the fabric of life itself. This impulse expressed itself through the gradual development of feathers, hollow bones, and other adaptations that eventually led to the miracle of flight.
That's a great example. So it's not just about adapting to the environment, it's about pushing beyond limitations, about striving for something more, something greater.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how Bergson's ideas paint this incredibly dynamic picture of reality where everything is interconnected and constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the physical world, right? He also applied these ideas to human consciousness and experience.
Absolutely. And this is where things get even more interesting.
Ooh.
He believed that humans represent a unique stage in the evolutionary process, one where consciousness and freedom have reached a new level of development.
So we're not just passive bystanders in this evolutionary dance. We're active participants, co-creators of our own destiny.
That's how Bergson saw it. He argued that humans have this incredible capacity to draw on the past, to shape the present, and to project ourselves into the future.
Which brings us back to his ideas about memory, right? It's not just about storing information. It's about actively shaping our experience of the world.
Yeah.
We're not just reacting to stimuli. We're constantly interpreting, filtering, and even creating our reality through the lens of our past experiences.
Exactly. And for Bergson, this active memory is intertwined with our capacity for language and thought. He believed that language, while incredibly useful, can also trap us in a kind of snapshot mentality, leading us to see the world as a collection of static objects rather than a fluid, interconnected process.
So it's like we're constantly trying to pin down reality with words.
Yeah.
But language is always lagging behind the ever-changing flow of experience. We label things, categorize them.
Yes.
But in doing so, we lose sight of the dynamic, interconnected nature of reality.
And this can lead to all sorts of misunderstandings and philosophical dead ends, according to Bergson. He argued that we need to be wary of the limitations of language and to cultivate a more intuitive, experiential way of knowing.
So it's not about rejecting language or thought. It's about using them as tools, but not letting them become our masters. We need to stay connected to that deeper intuitive awareness of duration, of the flowing creative nature of reality.
Exactly. And this is where Bergson's ideas about laughter become particularly relevant, wouldn't you say?
Laughter. You're telling me this guy who's tackling the mysteries of time and consciousness
Yes.
also had something to say about why we chuckle.
He did. And for Bergson, laughter wasn't just about personal amusement. It was a social corrective,
Mm-hmm.
a way of highlighting rigidity and conformity.
Mm.
He believed that laughter could jolt us out of our habitual ways of seeing the world, reminding us of the absurdity of taking ourselves too seriously.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me
Oh,
an
yeah.
example. How does laughter play this social corrective role?
Imagine someone walking down the street, completely absorbed in their own thoughts, and they trip over a crack in the sidewalk.
Okay.
We laugh because we see a sudden clash between their intended action and the unexpected reality. It exposes the mechanical, predictable nature of their behavior.
I see. So laughter is like a little nudge from society reminding us not to get too stuck in our routines and habits.
That's the gist of it. For Bergson, laughter is a celebration of the fluid, creative nature of life, a reminder that things don't always go according to plan. It's a way of acknowledging the absurdity of existence and of embracing the unexpected.
So laughter is actually a sign of our connection to duration of our awareness of the fluid, ever-changing nature of reality. It's like a little reminder to loosen up, to be more adaptable, to go with the flow, so to speak.
Exactly. It's a moment where we break free from the confines of our mental frameworks and experience the world with a sense of childlike wonder and spontaneity. And this brings us to one of the most challenging and thought-provoking aspects of Bergson's work, his exploration of the relationship between the human and the divine.
Okay, now we're getting into some really deep waters. You're saying that this philosopher who was so interested in the concrete realities of time, memory, and evolution
Yes.
also had something to say about spirituality. I'm all ears.
In his later writings, particularly in his book, The Two Sources of Morality and Religion, Bergson delves into the nature of mysticism and the possibility of transcending our limited ego-driven perspective. He suggests that through intuition, through a deep connection to the flow of duration, we can tap into a higher source of creativity and inspiration.
So it's not just about understanding the world around us, it's about understanding the world within us, our own potential for creativity, freedom, and spiritual growth. It's like he's saying that by embracing the dynamism of duration, we can also access a deeper dimension of ourselves, a dimension that connects us to something larger than ourselves.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore Bergson's later work, his ideas about mysticism and the evolution of consciousness, and how his philosophy might offer us a path towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Welcome back. It's great to continue this exploration of Bergson's ideas. As we delve deeper, you'll see how his philosophy isn't just an abstract system, but a way of understanding ourselves and the world around us. I'm ready for more. Before the break, we were talking about how Bergson saw a connection between the dynamism of duration and our potential for spiritual growth.
Right.
That's a pretty big leap from where we started talking about the experience of waiting for water to boil.
Right. But that's the beauty of Bergson.
Yeah.
He weaves together these seemingly disparate threads, showing how our everyday experiences of time and consciousness are connected to much larger questions about the nature of reality evolution.
Right.
And even spirituality.
So how does he bridge that gap?
Yeah.
How does he go from the feeling of duration to the idea of spiritual growth?
Well, remember that Bergson saw evolution as driven by this creative force, this élan vital, constantly pushing towards greater freedom and complexity.
Yeah.
And he believed that humans, with our capacity for self-awareness, creativity, and intuition, represent a unique stage in this evolutionary unfolding.
Okay, so we're not just products of evolution, we're active participants in it.
Exactly. Bergson argued that humans have this incredible capacity to shape the future, not just through our actions in the world, but through our thoughts, our aspirations, even our dreams. He saw a deep connection between our inner world and the evolution of consciousness itself.
So it's like we're not just evolving physically, but also mentally and spiritually. But how does that actually work? What's driving that evolution of consciousness?
Bergson believed that the same élan vital that drives biological evolution is also at work within us, pushing us towards greater self-awareness, deeper connection, and ultimately a more expansive and compassionate way of being.
So it's like that creative impulse that we see in nature that drive towards greater freedom and complexity is also operating within our own minds and hearts, guiding us towards a higher level of consciousness.
That's a great way to put it. And he believed that intuition plays a key role in this process.
Okay.
Remember, Bergson saw intuition as a way of knowing that goes beyond the limitations of our intellect, allowing us to grasp the wholeness of experience, the interconnectedness of things.
Right. It's like that feeling of being completely absorbed in a creative activity, or that moment of insight when you suddenly see a problem from a new perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about logic or analysis. It's a more direct, immediate way of knowing.
Exactly. And Bergson believed that these moments of intuition, these glimpses into the interconnectedness of reality, can be incredibly powerful. They can inspire us, transform us,
Yeah.
and ultimately guide us towards a higher level of consciousness.
This is all starting to make sense, but it's also a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying that we have this immense potential within us, this capacity for spiritual growth and transformation.
Right.
But how do we even begin to tap into that?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
And Bergson doesn't offer a simple answer, a step-by-step guide to spiritual enlightenment.
Okay.
He believed that it's an ongoing process, a journey of discovery that unfolds over a lifetime.
So it's not about following a set of rules or doctrines. It's more about cultivating a certain way of being, a way of seeing the world and ourselves.
That's how I understand it. He emphasizes the importance of cultivating our intuition, of paying attention to our inner experience, of being open to the unexpected and the unknown.
It sounds like he's advocating for a more mindful, present-centered way of living, not just rushing through life on autopilot, but really being present with our experience with the flow of duration.
And that's a key point. Bergson believed that by slowing down, by paying attention to the present moment, we can start to break free from the grip of our habitual patterns of thought and behavior.
So it's not about escaping from the world or denying the physical reality. It's about engaging with it in a more conscious, intentional way. It's about finding that balance between our inner and outer worlds, between the flow of duration and the demands of everyday life.
Exactly. And he believed that as we cultivate this deeper awareness of ourselves and the world around us, we naturally become more compassionate, more creative, and more connected to something larger than ourselves.
This is making me think about those moments of awe and wonder that we sometimes experience in nature or when listening to music, or even just being fully present with another person. It's like we're touching something deeper, something beyond our everyday concerns.
And for Bergson, those moments are glimpses into a higher reality, a reality that's always present, but that we often miss because we're so caught up in our thoughts, our worries, our distractions.
So it's not about denying our everyday reality. It's about seeing through it, so to speak, about recognizing that there's something more, something deeper that connects us all.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And he believed that by cultivating our intuition, by paying attention to those moments of insight and connection, we can gradually awaken to that deeper reality. We can start to see the world with new eyes, to experience life with a sense of wonder and possibility that we may have lost touch with along the way.
This is all incredibly inspiring, but I have to admit it's also a bit challenging. It's one thing to talk about cultivating intuition and connecting to a higher reality.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that in the midst of our busy, often chaotic lives? How do we bridge the gap between theory and practice?
That's the million-dollar question. And Bergson doesn't offer a one-size-fits-all answer.
Yeah.
He believed that the path to spiritual growth is unique for each individual, and it requires a certain amount of experimentation, exploration, and even a willingness to stumble and make mistakes along the way.
So it's not about finding the perfect method or following a set of rules. It's about embracing the journey with all its twists and turns. It's about trusting our own intuition, our own inner compass, to guide us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
That's a great way to summarize it. And I think that's one of the most valuable lessons we can take from Bergson's philosophy. It's not just a set of abstract ideas, it's an invitation to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to cultivate our capacity for wonder, and to embrace the creative possibilities that lie within each of us.
This has been an incredible exploration so far, and I'm eager to see where we go next. We've covered so much ground, from the nature of time and memory to the evolution of consciousness and the potential for spiritual growth. But there's still so much to uncover, so many more threads to follow in the tapestry of Bergson's thought.
And that's what makes exploring his work so rewarding. It's a journey that never really ends, always offering new insights and perspectives. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into Bergson's later writings, exploring his ideas about the two sources of morality and religion, and how his philosophy might offer us a path towards a more just and harmonious world.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the mind of Henri Bergson. It's amazing how much ground we've covered, starting with something as simple as waiting for water to boil.
Right.
We've gone pretty deep into time, memory, evolution, consciousness, and now spirituality. So before the break, you mentioned that Bergson doesn't really offer like a step-by-step guide to spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah.
It makes sense that the journey is unique for each person, but did he give any clues about how to navigate it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something he explored in his later work.
Yeah.
He didn't lay out strict rules, but he offered perspectives on how to approach spirituality.
Oh, okay. I'm all ears.
Right.
What were some of those perspectives?
Well, one key idea is that spiritual growth isn't just about personal enlightenment. It's also about social transformation.
Okay, so it's not just about like meditating on a mountaintop. It's about bringing those insights into our interactions with others, into our communities, into the world.
Exactly. He saw this as a natural progression. As we cultivate our intuition, as we open ourselves to the flow of duration, we start to see the interconnectedness of all things. And that realization can be really powerful. It can motivate us to act, to make a difference, to contribute to something larger than ourselves.
It's like the idea of finding your purpose, your calling. It's not just about what you do.
Right.
It's how you do it, the energy you bring, and the impact you have.
That's a great way to put it. And Bergson believed that this sense of purpose, this alignment, is essential for true happiness and fulfillment. He argued that when we live according to our deepest values, when our actions are guided by compassion and connection, we tap into this source of joy that goes beyond everyday ups and downs.
It sounds like he's talking about this inner alignment,
Yes.
where our thoughts, feelings, and actions are flowing in the same direction, guided by a deeper meaning.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. And this brings us to another key aspect of his work, his exploration of the two sources of morality and religion.
Okay, two sources of morality and religion. What does he mean by that?
He argued that there are two fundamental ways to approach morality and religion: the static and the dynamic. The static is based on rules, doctrines, fixed systems of belief.
So like a rule-based morality.
Exactly. You're either right or wrong, good or bad, depending on if you follow the rules. And Bergson said that this static approach can be useful, especially in providing structure and stability. But he also saw its limitations.
What were some of those limitations?
Well, he felt it could lead to rigidity, to a moral absolutism that ignores the complexities of real life. And he also felt that it could stifle creativity and innovation.
Like trying to fit the ever-changing flow of life into a fixed box.
Exactly. And that's where the dynamic approach comes in.
Okay.
He believed that true morality, true spirituality, is about embracing that flow of change. It's about cultivating our intuition, our empathy, and our willingness to adapt and respond to the world around us.
Less about rules, more about a way of being.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And he saw this as being more in line with the creative impulse of evolution.
This is resonating with me. He's saying that true spirituality isn't static, it's not a destination.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process of growth, of expansion, of becoming more aligned with our values and our purpose.
And I think that's really empowering. It means we're not stuck. We have the capacity to evolve, to grow, to become more compassionate, more connected, not just as individuals, but as a society.
This has been an incredible journey of exploration. We started with waiting for water to boil and ended up diving into the depths of philosophy, spirituality, and evolution.
It's the magic of Bergson. He takes these everyday experiences and shows how they're connected to bigger questions about reality, the meaning of life, our potential as human beings.
I feel inspired to cultivate my intuition, to be more present, and to embrace the flow of life.
And that's the greatest gift he offers: a renewed sense of wonder, a deeper appreciation for life, and an invitation to participate in the evolution of consciousness.
Well said. And for everyone listening, I encourage you to explore Bergson's work for yourselves. Let his ideas spark your curiosity and inspire your own journey of discovery. You might be surprised at what you find.